Hello neighbors, Combat Quilter here. Figured I would record me cutting out a quilt. I was asked to make a quilt out of my fabrics. The great folks at Timeless sent me enough fabric so that I could make a couple quilts. This one's headed to a shop to be a display, and it's not really my design, but it's one I saw on the internet a while ago, and then I alternate to be the sizes that I wanted it to be. And I've just called it Stars and More Stars. It's pretty simple. I'll make sure to share it when I'm done, of course. Anyway, let's get this thing cut out and see how long it takes. Takes me a couple minutes to get into my groove, but once I get into my groove, we'll be off to the races. Cutting 2 4.5-inch strips and 1 2.5-inch strip of each print, and I cut out 8 pieces of the stripe for the binding. And for the pattern, I need 8 pieces of each print, and then the 9th piece is going to end up being the center star of one of the other blocks. So I'm going to save all those and iron them at the end. And there's lots of methods out there that people use for cutting, stripology and all them other crazy rulers that are out there. I just like my Quilter Select and my rotary cutter. just so happens the other day when I was cutting out the Heroes Comfort kits, I miscut and cut two extra of this print, so I knew I would use it again eventually. Just didn't realize it was going to be this soon. And for those of you that are watching, thank you. I appreciate the views and such. I hope at some point to be monetized here on YouTube. Got to get 4,000 watch hours in 365 days, so I'm at like 400, so obviously I have work to do. But and yes, I am aware that I could cut through more layers of fabric than what I am. However, my OCD brain and accuracy won't allow that. So two layers of fabric for my 2-inch strips, but 4 is the max I like to go. There we go. For those of you who haven't seen me cut before, I like the folded edge towards me and the salvage edge away from me. That way, just in case there is any wrinkles in the fabric, it pushes it towards the edge. Uh-oh, my iron is telling me that it's auto shutting off. I do need to find a good iron. There's a one that I have the Aliso Manly version, gray and orange one, which I like. But I think I'm in the market for that one that's cordless. My brain may get a little frustrated with the cord and fighting it, and sometimes the cord gets caught in the feet going up and down. So I have one of those fancy doodads that it's like an arm that's supposed to keep it up, but it doesn't always work. So if anybody knows what iron I'm talking about, cordless. Yes, there are other great irons out there. I have a Eurosteam, which I love for big pieces of fabric. And they market it that it won't even burn a balloon. However, when you're ironing stabilizer, you need it to get a little bit warmer than that. So I'm about to start my Abraham Lincoln quilt, and we'll need a better iron than what I have. However, my girlfriend's iron over here seems to be working okay for now. It just has the auto shut off, which I don't like. Probably good for those people who would forget about it and leave an iron on over the weekend while they go to military duty or something, but anyway, back to what I was saying about watching me cut. I use the markings on the ruler, not on the mat. That way I don't get grooves and wear marks. You know, we're all creatures of habit and it happens, but I try the best to cut at 1/4 of an inch one time, and then 1/2 of an inch the next time on the lines, and then 3/4, and then work my way through. But some of these edges I'm cleaning up as I go. The correct way to clean it up would be to spin it around and line it up and use the ruler to cover the majority of the fabric, and then spin it back around the other way just takes a whole lot of time back and forth. So yes, I am wasting a little bit more by trimming it up this way, but it is what it is. And this is one of those quilt kits that I hope to invest in some of my fabric and cut and make a kit out of once I see what it looks like and figure out the time that it takes to cut this out versus the time that it takes. Most of the time I can cut out a quilt kit, I don't know, somewhere between 20 and 40 minutes, which for one isn't bad, but I went to a retreat one time and volunteered to cut everybody's quilt kit out for 20 bucks. That's great until there was like 30 people who wanted their quilt cut out, and I was trying to get it done in a day, which just didn't work out. So lesson learned for sure. And I did have a dream the other night that I was at a quilt shop here in Illinois and cut out quilt kits for people, offered my services and cut them out, and it was a weird dream. I also dreamed I was riding around in a tank using the bilge pump of the 113 in the floor to suck water out of the lake to put out a fire on the side of the mountain somewhere. Weird dreams. I think it's because I'm watching that show Tracker and it's causing weird dreams. Alright, looks like we're going to do this one a little bit different. I want to save the tags that are already on them, so I'm just going to make 2 cuts off of one end instead. Instead of cutting through 4 layers, I'm just going to cut through 2 twice. The folks at Timeless put these wonderful tags on. I'll show you here in a second. There we go. Normally while I'm cutting, I'm watching some National Geographic show about either Mysteries of the Abandoned or Mysteries of the Unknown or some pharaoh or king or something. That way I can be a little bit more of a force to be reckoned with during trivia. One of my hobbies, if you will, is playing trivia from time to time. Especially with Kent up there in Michigan from Creative Passions. I appreciate him inviting me to join his crew while I was up there to go play trivia one night. Full of useless knowledge. Well, not completely useless. It comes in handy when you need it, but who needs to know that beer line cleaner is the best thing to put in your air conditioner lying at the military schoolhouse coming from the air conditioner to keep it free of fungus and bacteria. It only mattered when the hose was stopped up. Before I forget, I do still have one Heroes Comfort quilt kit left. I plan on starting that sew along here in the next couple weeks. Got to get all of the logistics figured out of that. And before I forget, again, you know those things, my brain goes 100 miles an hour, all sorts of which ways. I need to thank Chris from Rose City Originals. I watched his sewing room tour video, and he had some camera mounts that went to the table, some spiffy arm thing that went across, and I necessarily don't need one that big. However, they do have a smaller model, which I bought, was delivered yesterday. So thanks, Chris, for that. Seems like that saying, iron sharpens iron, is true. Can learn a lot from everybody out there. There's not one great way to do every single thing. I mean, more efficient than others for some people, but we all have brains that work differently, so. Yeah, we're running out of room over here. And here's another one of those with the tags down there. I don't want to cut off, so we'll just cut 2 strips. And I know some of you out there are leery that I lay my blade down open, but that's part of the being a responsible adult and knowing that there's nobody else here in the house. Girlfriend's working out of the house today, so don't have to worry about anybody else coming down here and messing with it. And it's part of that positive control of your gear and equipment at all times, even though I lay it in 10 different places, but for whatever reason I remember it most of the time. Scissors that I misplace. And for those of you who are watching, when I'm cutting, I'm protecting the piece that I'm cutting, and I'm using the ruler to slide it away from the next piece that I'm going to cut. That way it creates some space and distance. I don't have to worry about it being in the way. And some people don't like the stickiness of the Quilter Select, but I do. And then there's that other method. You could buy a ruler and spray the back of it with Elmer's spray adhesive, let it sit overnight, and then it becomes tacky as well. It does the same thing, but then when you go to move it, you just lift up the ruler, put a little bit of air underneath there, and away you go. All right, sounds like I need to take a break a minute, and I'll be back to it here in a little bit. We're almost halfway cut out. 2 more fabrics would be halfway. Anyway, we'll be right back. All right, took a short break, and make sure you drink water. I have to play those funny mind games where every time I make eye contact with it, I drink it or remember to drink it. I'm trying to get close to, I do get 60 ounces a day for sure, but I'm trying to get closer to a gallon. Just a hair off. It's easy, it's just a square it open. All right, how about this? I know it's kind of boring watching me cut fabric, so how about I get the rest of this cut? After I get it all laid out, I will show you what it looks like. I'll be back in a few. All right, there you have it, about 45 minutes and the quilt is all cut out. I'm gonna reach over here and grab it and let you see the parts and pieces. There we go, they're all cut out and ready to go. Stay tuned for further videos that show the progress of stars and more stars. Happy quilting.